get set, where them hands, where them holes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying? Cecil.
This is why I train in martial arts.
The Great Mills High School shooting in St. Mary's County last spring played a major role in convincing Maryland legislators to make safety a top priority. And now there's a new law on the books.
The Safe to Learn Act really put a lot of burden on the school systems, rightfully so, to keep kids safe in school. But part of that act deals with mental health of students.
Carroll County is the first Maryland school system to get a safety grant to hire a mental health coordinator. She's Amy Jagoda, a veteran school psychologist.
She is well respected among our administrators and her colleagues. She's very active in the state in regard to the Psychological Association.
Carroll County residents say the new position is needed to help students deal with problem issues.
I believe if they have someone they can trust to talk to and to help them through difficult times, that can be a plus.
The new mental health position will allow local schools to work with outside mental health agencies with the goal of heading off violence.
Obviously, increased safety is always a good thing. I mean, so many horrific things have happened in the school systems recently, so yeah, absolutely.
Carroll County plans to set aside money in next year's budget to pay for the new position once the state grant funding runs out. Now, in line with the State's Safe to Learn Act, a number of Maryland school systems have set aside money to hire or add to their police resource officer programs. Live in the 11 newsroom, Tim Tootin, WBAL, TV 11 News.
Well, there is my state. That is my state. Carroll County is not my county, but that's my state, where they're hiring a mental health expert to help educators deal with children that have mental problems and that could be violent. And this is all about violence prevention. And this is great, but it's not everything that I think they need. I still think you need a core of educators trained in the martial arts. And I don't mean you invite some people to come in there and they get like a day or a week of some combatives or some restraint techniques. No, I mean you make them sign up at least for a judo club. Really, I would say, since everybody has to say, well, just what one style to do, make them do jiu-jitsu. But, truth be told, I'm going to be an S-tier, elitist, and I'm going to say my style. Because I do punching, kicking, throwing, pinning, plus forms. They need all that. They need all that. Because I don't think just doing the jiu-jitsu stuff is going to be enough for a lot of these teachers, because they're going to have to know how to move their body with striking. Because they're going to have to be able to get through the strike range to get to the, without, getting a concussion, to get to the range where they can restrain the students. But they also need to be able to deal with the possibility that somebody may come up behind them. That's why I said get people who are trained in the grapple arts and striking arts and forms. But this is a good start though. So I'm not going to completely poo-poo it. Another thing that I really think is interesting, the one reason why I harp so much on mental health and martial arts is because one of the best teachers I've ever had in my life, one of the most talented martial artists I have ever seen, I think he should have been a grandmaster when he was 35, but that's just my opinion. He is a mental health expert. He deals with mental patients. And he was going to hire me part-time to deal with mental patients. So I could work on my jiu-jitsu. The only reason why I didn't do it at the time is because my kids were still small and they needed daddy on the weekend as much as possible. But other than that, I would have been in, and I might even be working in the mental health field. There's also another martial artist. He would be a co-high to me, but I don't feel comfortable saying that because he's older than me and more educated. So, but technically he would be a co-high to me, even though I wouldn't treat him that way. He's a mental health expert. So there are mental health experts who are also martial artists. Okay? So, come on. School systems. let's not do half. Let's not just do the yin of learning how to teach these educators to talk to people. Let's do the yang of teaching the educators how to engage with students physically without having to bust them upside the head. It's like, you're halfway there with that idea. You're halfway there. Oh, and another reason why I think this is, you got to go all the way. My high school principal, this is way back in the day, he knew jiu-jitsu. And his assistant principal was an ex-Marine. He was trained in the martial arts. That assistant principal's wife is now a high-ranking Taekwondoan. And she was an educator. There are educators who know this. They get involved in martial arts. Why can't we get everybody on board? I'm sorry that the world is becoming the way it is. You can blame single mothers, you can blame this and that and blah, 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 and whatever. But the bottom line is, I think the skill set for teachers is going to have to include, I don't like to call it combatives. I just say it's going to have to include martial arts training. And not so the teachers can fight, but so the teachers can learn how not to fight. It sounds counterintuitive. Maybe because we call them martial arts. Maybe we should call them civilian arts. Maybe I will start saying that's what I teach. I teach the civilian arts. Yeah, that was Grandmaster R. Mason that says he teaches the peaceful arts instead of the war arts or the martial arts. I teach civilian arts. This is for civilians. This is for you to handle violence. And it's not Aikido, even though some people will say, some people have said, oh, he's putting Aikido in there. Like, before I even took any Aikido lessons, I didn't know the wrist locks came from Aikido that I learned from other instructors over the years. But whatever. But it's not like what you would expect a Steven Seagal type thing to do. You've got to learn the different ranges, and especially if we would go ahead and develop a system with techniques that we know work specifically in the classroom environment. I mean, with all the talent in this country, even with all the talent in the region I live in, there's no reason why the school systems couldn't have their own style, their own martial arts, with their own repertoire of techniques that teachers can use. And again, because this is how styles develop. If you ever study the history of whoever made the style that you like or the style that you study, a particular type of need comes up and someone fills it. And that is how a style is born. It's still based on all the stuff that came before. Somebody still could have studied Shotokan or could have studied Jiu-Jitsu or whatever. Just like Jigoro Kano made Judo out of Jiu-Jitsu, and the Gracies made Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu out of Judo. That type of evolution. Well, yeah, it's evolution, it's adaptation. It doesn't necessarily mean it's better. It just means that it's suited for a particular need. It's like Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do was suited for himself. Just like Taekwondo was suited for the Korean culture. Let's stop going halfway. Go all the way. Get these educators fully trained so they can learn how not to fight the students. So thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with people like to talk about the martial arts. And peace.